All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pozios Picks. We got another bonus episode for you guys today. In today's episode, we are doing the NFL Futures episode. You guys know I'm the Futures King. We love the Futures out here. And they're the best value, in my opinion, especially for NFL. To help me today, we got a new guest on, Tom. Welcome, brother. Glad to have you here. I'm excited. NFL is going to be sick. I'm really looking forward to it. Opening night tomorrow, Bills-Rams. Should be a great game. But in today's episode, like I said, we're doing futures. I've got everything. I mean, Super Bowl, the Super Bowl matchup, the outcome, a bunch of season awards. Should be good. What do you got, Tom?
I got my fair share of stuff too, so I'm excited to do it.
Love it. All right, cool. I think we should start with player awards and then work into like division winners and then end with the Super Bowl.
Sounds good.
So, my first award, little bit of a homer, but I think the value is incredible, especially with the role he's going to play. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to take Aiden Hutchinson, plus 450. I really don't see anyone else having as big of an impact as he will, especially right away, and I think that value is incredible at plus 450.
Yeah, so I also had that as one that I was going to pick, and then the second one that I had, sort of a long shot though, it's plus 1,600 on FanDuel. It was Jordan Davis from the Eagles.
That's big.
I really like that. He was a beast at Georgia, and I think they really needed a boost on their defense, and I also think that as a team, they sort of take the next step forward. I think Hurts will have a little bit of a better year, and even though a lot of times defensive rookie of the years it doesn't really depend on the team and how they're doing. I think in this case it could make a difference, and with those odds you could sprinkle it. It could be nice.
Yeah, I agree, especially if, like you said, a lot of people are liking them to take another step and like actually make some noise in the NFC. So if he plays a big role on that defense and they're actually good, that's a good shout, especially for a long shot. Moving on to offensive rookie of the year. This one is obviously depending on the role that he plays. Kenny Pickett at plus 900, I think is decent. I think the Steelers are going to be cautious with Mitch. I think that Najee is really just going to be their feature in the offense. And I think Pickett's going to get some shots. If they get down a lot, they start getting blown out. I don't think they will with their defense. But if Pickett gets the shot, I think he can really make some noise on offense. And then I also have a long shot at plus 1,200. I got to take my boy Sky Moore. Western Michigan Bronco. Shout out to the Mac. I think he's just going to have a really big role in that Chiefs offense, especially with Tyreek gone. He kind of fills that. And he's quick, man. He can make some noise, I think, on that team. I think he'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, no, and especially in like an explosive offense like that, you have so much opportunity to do great. And Mahomes can sling that ball. So
yeah.
That's good. The ones that I had one of my biggest long shot ones. It was plus 2,000. So again, tread with caution. But it was James Cook from the Bills.
Love that.
Zach Moss has dealt with a lot of injuries in the last 2 years, so I don't really know if he can even make it a whole season. He's pretty good when he plays, but that's if he plays. And have never been sold on Devin Singletary. I really don't think he's that great. And James Cook can pass catch very well, which is going to be huge for this team. The team as a whole, again, as we kind of talked about it with the defensive rookie of the year, the team is going to take even another step forward, I think. We'll sort of talk about that later. I have a feeling when we start discussing, championship stuff. And then the other one that I had two other receivers. I had plus 900, so Pickett's teammate, George Pickens.
Yep.
I really like him. Deonte Johnson dealing with a shoulder injury right now. And reports came out 2 days ago that he was going to be fine. Mike Tomlin underplayed it. And then today it came out that he's still struggling with it, and now he's questionable for week 1. I don't know how much that's going to affect him week 1, if he'll play or not. I have a feeling he'll be back within 2 weeks, but how effective will he be, no one really knows. And Pickens has been great. And then also Olave. I love Olave.
Yeah.
I think that Jameis Winston has been shown on so many occasions to be willing to sling the ball, even if it's huge risk to him getting it intercepted.
Yeah.
Olave is a great receiver at going deep. He did it all the time at Ohio State. He can also take slants to the house. He's super fast. And I don't really know if I'm sold necessarily on Michael Thomas yet until I see his health. So that's another one that I like.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I saw Olave and I thought about it. Shout out to Kevin. Kevin had that pick as well, surprisingly. I can't believe he did. But I love the Pickens play. I think he's going to be a dog all season. I mean, he's got the famous meme of him staring at the TV when he gets drafted. I mean, he's That guy's a dog. And like you said, Winston, he's gonna throw the ball, and Thomas is gonna be good. He's not gonna have the same production, I don't think, at all without Drew Brees, and Olave's a good deep threat. And like you said, Jameis is gonna throw. He doesn't care. So, I like those plays. Keep in mind, a lot of these, like especially Rookie of the Year, like comeback player, all that stuff. A lot of these we're just hunting for value. These are small plays. Don't go empty in a bunch on these. That's why we're taking 2, 3, 4 plays, because they're all, plus 800, 900 and above. So just to throw that in there. All right, next, comeback player of the year. I think the easy pick is Derrick Henry. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to take McCaffrey at plus 700 for my first one, just because if he actually can put together a healthy season, I think it's easily his. It's just a matter of if he does. I know, it's Carolina. He's got Baker now, but what do you think about McCaffrey?
Yeah, I think that's a good play. I didn't have it as mine just because I didn't like it at plus 700, especially with his injury history. I don't know if he can make it a whole season. I actually do think Baker's a step up, though, from what he's played with in the past. The ones that I was eyeing, other than Henry, because that was the best odds, was Jameis. And he had second best odds, though, so it's not like anything crazy on him. He was plus 600. And the one that is the outlier as far as odds that I actually really, really like is Saquon Barkley. I think that they don't take a huge step forward as an offense, but I think overall Barkley has shown that he can really, make plays out of nothing.
Yeah.
He can pass catch, he can block, and he can almost churn out positive yardage whenever he wants to. It's just a matter of if he can stay healthy, which he has not been able to over the last 2 years, and sort of the play of Daniel Jones, which could be an issue. But I think at plus 2,000, I'm definitely willing to take a stab at it.
I think those are great odds. I agree. I mean, a lot of the odds with comeback player of the year, obviously, it's comeback player of the year. It's depending on if these guys can stay healthy. I feel like a lot of the guys at the top of this year have been, annually hurt. They get hurt every year except for Henry. He obviously just had the injury last year. But if those guys can stay healthy, I like Jameis too. I think that's a good play. Plus, it's a quarterback. They'll want to give it to a quarterback, right. Any NFL award. I also sprinkled, I know we just talked about we don't really believe in it until we see it. I think Michael Thomas at plus 2,000 is an okay shout. If he comes back and is that guy that he was, I think he can win it as well. At plus 2,000, I think it's worth a little half unit, quarter unit, something. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Okay. Do you have any other player awards? That's it for me.
So I also had a long shot to win Defensive Player of the Year. Not rookie defensive player, just defensive player. I might take it. I'm not sure. But Darius Leonard from the Colts is plus 3,000. And I think that he can make it happen.
Yeah.
He's been known to be able to stop the run. He forces a crazy amount of fumbles. And I think Matt Ryan is a huge leap from Wentz in that offense. So, again, when we're looking at the team as a whole and how they're doing, and they just have a nasty defense in general all around this year. And I think that he's going to be the anchor, and, he can make a lot of plays.
Yeah, he's a dog. I mean, he's really good. That's another team-depending thing. If they can string some wins together, he's obviously going to be the featured linebacker. He's unbelievable. So he's going to lead them in tackles. Like you said, he forces a crazy amount of fumbles. He's going to make plays. I like that. What was the odds on that?
Plus 3,000.
Wow, yeah.
That's why I liked it. It was really just because of the odds.
That's really good. MVP, did you have anything? I didn't, because I think Allen's going to win.
Yeah, so Allen was one of mine, and then the other one that I took that I wanted to take sort of an outlier a little bit was Burrow at plus 1,200.
Okay.
I think that T. Higgins is going to be great this year. Who doesn't really?
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd is still another great option. They really revamped. They got Lyle Collins from I think it was the Cowboys. So their offensive line, they made 2 offensive line moves. I know Collins was one. I'm not sure about the other. So he's going to have a way better offensive line. He's coming off a full year after tearing his ACL, so he's going to have better mobility. And the team in general is going to be great. They beat the Chiefs last year. They almost beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. And he's plus 1,200. I'll take that.
Do you think that his success depends on Jamar a lot, or no?
I think it depends on. Honestly, no, I don't. When you think about it, if they only had Jamar and they had nobody else who has proven to be able to pass catch, then I would say that it would be dependent on him. But one, I think Jamar is going to have another great season.
Yeah.
Two, they have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. They are going to be missing Uzama. That's going to be definitely a loss for them at tight end. But and I also just think, again, like the whole team, the whole offense is going to be great this year.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I liked Allen. I didn't really have anything because I just think he's going to win it. It scares me because everyone thinks he's going to win it, but I think Brady was around the same odds too.
Yeah,
and
Brady was like plus 800, I think.
He's always a good sprinkle. It's Brady.
You know, they love him. They love to give him the award.
I know. And he came back. It's like, oh, look at this. He was retired. He can still win MVP. It doesn't even matter.
Right. And then if you also, I guess, dig down into the football aspect of it, it seems like Godwin's going to be good to go. Not week 1, I doubt. And even if he does, I think he's going to be super limited.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be all systems go probably by week 6. So they're still going to have obviously they're going to be losing Gronk, but they're still going to have Godwin, Mike Evans, obviously. And then they got one other receiver that I'm missing.
I was just gonna ask you. Let's get into this really quick. This is the future, Zappy, but obviously these picks depend on the teams. You think Julio is? You think Julio?
That was that. Yeah. So that was who I was thinking.
Like, how effective do you think he can really be with Brady?
I think he can be very effective. Actually, I don't think he's gonna have as much pop in his ability to accelerate just because he's old and he's always had hamstring issues. But if he can stay healthy, again, sort of another big if with him, I think he could be a really good red zone target at minimum. He's a wily veteran, so is Brady, and there was reports coming out from camp, not just from beat reporters, but from Brady himself, that Julio is just a really easy guy to make a connection with on the field.
Yeah.
And when you see a guy saying that, it's pretty important, and I would at least eye it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm high on the Bucs. I hate to say it, but I really am, because I mean, I know it's different because Randy Moss was like a bit younger, and it was Randy Moss. Like when we saw him later in his career hook up with Brady, they're definitely not the same receiver, especially at this point. But like Brady always seems to bring the best out of all the guys, and like you said, if he can actually stay healthy, which I think that playing with Brady, he knows the game, he knows defenses, he knows how to put his guys in the best position. He's going to be able to keep Julio in a better position to stay healthy in terms of the routes he runs, the plays they call for him. So I think that's going to be really interesting. Anything else for player awards? I don't think I have anything else.
No, that was it for me.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Next, I want to get into some division winners. I have a parlay that is, God, I am scared how much I love it, but it is Bills, Colts, Eagles, Bucks, all to win their division at plus 711. I also have the same thing, Bills, Colts, Cowboys, Bucks, for plus 799. So those are the only two division winners parlays I'm taking. The same parlay, except switch the winner of the NFC East, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. Bills, Colts, and Bucks are all minus money to win their division. So I don't really see anyone in their divisions beating them, or at least having a better record.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't put together any parlays. I probably should have when I was like going through this. But yeah, I had AFC East was the Bills. They're minus 230 though, so obviously pretty juiced.
Yeah.
Tampa's the same. They're also minus 230. I thought that was too juiced for Tampa. But I guess like a parlay could make that a little bit better.
Yeah.
Some of the outliers I had the Vikings at plus 240.
I think that's a good shout.
I just think that their new offensive coordinator and the way that they're going to run things, people forget that Kirk Cousins is a very serviceable, good quarterback. I know this isn't really a fantasy show, but every year in fantasy he finishes a top 12 quarterback, which means that he's putting up at least respectable numbers.
He is slept on, definitely. And like you said, with a new, like Zimmer was very run heavy. Now they got a new head coach.
Right, and he'll be willing to push that ball all around the field. And you got to remember that last year they also were missing Irv Smith, who I think is going to be a really good tight end. He's quick. He finally had his knee repaired. I think it was an MCL sprain, it was like an MCL like surgery or something that he had to get taken care of last year. So they're going to have him back. They still have Thielen. Justin Jefferson had another year under his belt to perform. and get a lot of connection with Cousins. So I really like their offense. And you got to remember they still have Dalvin Cook. So even if they're not run heavy, they can still rely on him when they need to at the end of games or in the red
100%.
zone. And I just think that the Packers were the best odds in the NFC North. I just can easily see the Vikings winning it at plus 240. I'd definitely take a stab.
I agree. I think that's incredible value for the North, especially because they play Sunday, right? Don't they? They play each other
first
Sunday.
Game, 425, I think.
And I think Green Bay's like a 1.5 point favorite. I think it's close to a pick 'em. So I think that's interesting. I agree that there's that much discrepancy. Vikings, I think, are boom or bust. I agree. They can have a great year, or things can kind of fall on Kirk Cousins, but we'll see. Any other division winners?
Yeah, I also had the Rams at plus 125.
Okay.
I just think they're still the same team.
Yeah.
And they added Allen Robinson, who is another player who's very slept on.
Mm-hmm.
Allen Robinson has been playing with some of the worst quarterback play that you could possibly want.
His whole career,
His whole career. And even through then, if you exclude last year, he plays at a very high level. He still has great numbers every year. And I know that he definitely hated things in Chicago. They franchise tagged him. They refused to pay him, even though he was their great wide receiver. So I think that he had very little drive to even produce, and he still did in most of his seasons, except for last year. So adding him is going to be like adding Odell last year, except, in my opinion, doubly as good. So.
Yeah. And he, like you said, he's going to, he's excited. He's ready to go for them. So that's going to be big. So that's it for division winners, right? Nothing else?
No.
I've got my 2 parlays. Tom's got his division winners. I think that Vikings play is a great shout. Anything else before we get into Super Bowl?
Yeah, I had a couple. Are we going to do team totals?
I had.
Saving it.
I don't have any. I had some, but I was a little questionable. So I was going to see what you had and kind of go off that.
Yeah, so I took a look at some of the schedules, and I saw ones that I liked and didn't like. This year I thought was really, really hard to get a grasp for most teams.
Yeah.
But the ones that I like the Jets under 5.5.
I like that a lot.
They really don't have an easy schedule, and even some of the games that they're going to play, like against the Jags and against like the Giants, like other teams that aren't very, very good, they still have tough games. Like even those are tough games for the Jets. Like they're getting somewhat of an upgrade at running back. I'm not even sure if they are. I think Michael Carter's very serviceable as a running back.
Yeah.
Breece Hall's going to be better, but we'll see when he actually comes on and starts playing. They're going to have Flacco starting week 1 officially. We don't know how long that's going to be or how long they're going to rest Zach Wilson. They really have no reason to rush
I think
him
they
back.
came out today. I think they said at least week 4.
Okay, then there you go. And again, Flacco's not terrible. I guess some could argue that Flacco's even going to be better than Wilson. I'm not one of those people.
No, me neither.
But in looking at their schedule, I was not a believer in that. Another under, I normally hate betting unders, but I also like another team I was just talking about, the Jags, under 6.5. Another very similar team. They actually, I think, played the Jets twice, I was seeing. But I only saw like 4 games that were really like I was guaranteed that they were going to win it. And those are, respectively, the Jets was minus 145 and the Jags were minus 135. And then I'm going to sound like a bit of a homer here, but the Lions, I like over 6.5 at minus 125. I'm not going to be putting huge units on the Lions one just because, we seem to sort of lose games at the last second. And when you're trying to get 7 or more wins in a pretty tough division and a fairly tough schedule as well, you can't really lose those games at the last second. So this is one that I'm going to very advised to tread cautiously with.
I'm very surprised that you took it. I honestly am. I mean, as you guys can tell, I wanted to take it. I didn't want to give the homer pick. I know that Hard Knocks is providing a lot of Kool-Aid for everybody to sip on. So
I was sipping on it from that too. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, we have one of the best O-lines in the NFL. Our offense is going to be decent. The defense is obviously the big question mark, but I don't know. I mean, we're like you said, I think we're going to be able to compete. I think we're going to be in games. It's just a matter of closing them out.
Yeah.
And if Goff stays healthy.
Yeah, well, if Goff goes down, we're talking over under literally 4.5.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we win 3-4 games.
And we saw Blau in the preseason. He didn't look terrible, but
we don't have him anymore.
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sudfeld.
Yeah, so if he, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, so if Goff goes down, we're in serious trouble.
Yeah.
But, hopefully that won't happen. He's not a running quarterback, at least.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys that get hurt normally are guys that are mobile. But
I like the pick. I legitimately do think we can win 7 games because the Bears stink. I think we should be able to beat them both games.
beat the Bears twice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. There was definitely, when I was looking through the schedule, there was 4 games that I said, no doubt we're going to win these 4 games. And then there was like 5 or 6 that I was on the bubble about, and some of those I was leaning towards us winning. So, so I went with it.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got the Eagles week 1. I still can't believe the spread is 4. That makes me think to take the Lions. We're gonna get into that for the NFL.
Why? Wait.
Sunday episode.
You think that the Eagles should be favored by more?
Like based on like their Super Bowl odds and all those things like that. Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know. So Eagles game, like we can mark that as a loss. I think we can beat Washington at home.
I had that on a game that we could definitely win.
The Eagles game?
Yeah. No, sorry.
Oh, the Commanders one. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So Commanders game, I think we can win that at home. Vikings on the road, that's a loss. Seahawks at home, that's
absolutely.
We got to win that game. Patriots on the road is a loss. Cowboys on the road, probably a loss. Dolphins at home.
I counted that as one that was sort of on the bubble. And
yeah.
I counted that more towards a loss.
Okay. Packers at home, loss. Bears on the road, win. Giants on the road, win. That's 4. Bills at home on Thanksgiving, we're going to lose by 100.
No.
Jags at home, 5. Vikings at home. We could win, yeah.
That was one
possible.
that I had on the bubble again, but I was trending towards us losing.
That threat is.
We have 2 or 3 easy games now, though.
That spread is 3, yes. But for the record, the Minnesota spread at home. Jets on the road, win. That's 6. Panthers on the road,
that was
win.
my other one, man. And then we play the Bears after too.
7, and then Bears at home. That's 8.
Right. So I'm saying even if we dropped one of those games that we should have,
we get over that.
Win, we still hit over.
Yeah.
And that's assuming that we lose every single game other than those.
And I know right now the spread for the Lions Packers in the last week of the year is Green Bay -10. That could easily be one of those games where they rest their starters and we win.
No doubt.
And we just add another win.
Right.
So I think it's a good bet.
And coming from me, I'm sort of a pessimistic Lions fan. So
yeah.
Normally I would never, ever in a million years take that. But this year, sure, there's buzz, and I've definitely bought into it.
Right.
But at the same time, when you also look at the schedule and you see the guys that we have and the team that we've sort of built, especially offensively, I don't see how we don't win at least, at bare minimum, at least 5 of those games that we said definitely going to win.
Yeah. I agree. I know that was a little bit of a Lions session, but, I mean, it's our hometown squad. We had to get into it. All right. Anything else before Super Bowl? I think I'm ready to go for Super Bowl.
I think that was it for me.
Okay. Super Bowl picks. I have a few. I also have, this was my favorite bets that I made last year, and they made me a ton of money, and I think that they are a great shout. Especially because if one of them hits, you get a bunch of bankroll before the Super Bowl. That Super Bowl matchup, meaning parlaying the AFC champion and the NFC champion, which I love a lot. So I'm going to start with those. My AFC and NFC champion parlays. Bills and the Bucks. Bills to win the AFC, Bucks to win the NFC. That's plus 1880. Chiefs to win the AFC, Bucks to win the NFC, it's plus 2540. And then Bills to win the AFC, Rams to win the NFC, plus 2600.
Yeah, well, I like those a lot.
Yeah, I mean, those are all almost plus 2000. You can add, I think I'm going to sprinkle. Those are going to be, my 3 official ones that I'm going to put some, not some serious money, but, 1 or 2 units. Because, I mean, the value is just insane. You can, combine Bills, Packers, Chiefs, Packers, all the big dogs at the top, and the value is only bigger than that. So
that's great. I honestly didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely have to take a look at that.
And like I said, if one of those hits, you hit a plus 2000 parlay right before the Super Bowl starts, so it gives you some bankroll
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
the Super Bowl, which is fun. Did you have any conference winners?
Yeah, I did. So I said to sprinkle the Colts at plus 1,200.
Okay.
I love the Bills at plus 350.
Yeah.
Who doesn't though? It's almost to the point where it's just beginning to scare me.
Yeah,
I think I shouldn't do anything with
it's actually terrifying how many like journalists, whatever, writers are all on the Bills. I mean, everyone's on the Bills.
it. Right. It's to the point where it's just starting to scare me.
Yeah, I mean, I love them too. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
me too. Yeah. And then for the NFC, I had the two usual suspects. I don't think the Packers are going to be as good without Deonte. I just don't. I think their defense is still going to be good. Gary up front's going to be a beast, but I just don't see it without him. I actually think Watkins is going to do better than people think, but it's another guy that like, can he stay healthy again? Like, I just don't know. It's like the same injuries with him, hamstring injuries and like soft tissue injuries in the NFL tend to lag around a lot, and I don't really know. Who's going to step up for them? Is it going to be like Alden Lazard? Is it going to be like Romeo Dubes? Is it going to be Christian Watson? Like, nobody knows. Rodgers is still going to be the same old Rodgers. I have zero doubt that he's still going to be great. And their running backs are both going to be great. I just don't. Devontae Adams just gives you a level that, and they had Devontae Adams last year and they still lost.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. The Packers scared me. That's why I didn't have them in any of my official matchups. I had the Bucks in two of them and the Rams in the matchup parlays. I agree. I mean, like, Rodgers is Rodgers. He's back-to-back MVP. But having the best wide receiver in the NFL is a big part of that.
Right,
So.
it helps. And it helps open up the field. It's not just throwing to Devontae. It's also stretching the field for a guy like Allen Lazard,
Yeah.
Tunyon, who I know they didn't have at the end of the season last year, but whatever. And watching them, they just had a different connection. Like in terms of quarterback. I don't know anyone else. I can't name you anyone else in the last 10 years that's had a connection like that, honestly.
No,
It's
I agree.
every single time he needs a play, whether it be 40 yards down the field or a 3-yard slant. It's incredible.
Yeah. So the Packers are going to be interesting. I think that defense is, if they stay healthy, one of the best in the NFL, which keeps them in it. But we're going to have to see how that offense functions, which is going to be interesting. Any other conference winners?
And I also had the Ravens at plus 950. Again, that's like something you could sprinkle. I haven't placed on it, so I'm thinking just because I also had, because for the Super Bowl outright, if we can go into that, I had the Bills again.
Yep, I have
God
them
bless
too.
us. I had Tampa Bay.
Yep.
And I also wanted to sprinkle the Ravens. So I don't know if you heard, but Lamar actually has not come to an agreement with the Ravens.
Yes.
And it sounds like he's going to be playing like for his contract this year. I think Rashad Bateman is way better than people think.
I agree.
I think that Mark Andrews will have a good year. Their running back, or their running backs, I should say, are going to be a little bit suspect. I don't think Dobbins has as good of a year. Most running backs coming off their first year off an ACL never really produce as well as they did before. I think that maybe by week 8 he'll be okay, but he's not going to be like last year. But they've got other guys. They just signed Kenyon Drake. They still have Mike Davis, who is actually not as bad as people think. And they still have good coaching. They still have a good defense. Lamar can make it happen. It's
I agree.
Just a question of, will they have the backs to help him out? Because he can't run all on his own or he's going to get hurt again.
I love that as a sleeper pick. What are the odds for the Super Bowl?
Plus 2,000.
Okay.
Which is the only reason, again, why I like it. If it was anything less than that,
If Humphrey comes back and Peters comes back and they're able to like solidify that secondary again, plus they added what's his name? Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Which is that secondary could be insane if they come back healthy and they add Hamilton. Like they're gonna be really, really good on defense.
And they just took Mike McDonald from Michigan, their defensive coordinator too, who had a great year with Michigan last year. And he knows the Harbaughs already, and he's immediately going to make a difference there, even better than the coach they had before, I think.
Yeah. Wow. I like that a lot. For my Super Bowl, I had Bills plus 600, Bucks plus 750. I think they're the clear-cut front runners. Brady scares me this year. I don't know why.
Like in a way that you think he's going to do really well?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
Like I'm not a Brady fan per se, but I think he's going to come back on a different level.
Yeah, I can see it. And I'm a Brady fan.
Yeah.
I'm a truther.
Yeah.
But I definitely see it. They are going to be missing either one, I know if one for sure, or maybe even two guys off their offensive line, either for the year or just for like an extended period. I think Wirfs is banged up again.
Yep.
That could be a problem. Brady's used to playing behind really good O-lines. They're still going to be fine, but missing him off I think of the left side is going to be possibly an issue, especially with Brady's lack of mobility. But I still think that, they can find a way back.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it. We saw it last year in the Rams-Bucks game. No matter what happens, he's always going to have a shot to win a game.
Yeah. And
especially,
he's still got Mike Evans. He's still got his guys,
Especially that late in the year. So, those are my two, big favorites. I'm going to sprinkle the Chiefs at plus 1,000. I think 10-1 is good value. I know that they lose Tyreek.
Is this to win the Super Bowl?
Yes, to win the Super Bowl, yeah. I'm still going to sprinkle them at 10-1 plus 1,000. If they get there, they have a legitimate shot to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to have to go through Buffalo, I think.
Yep.
But if they get there, they're going to have a shot to win the game. So I think a little sprinkle on that at plus 1,000 is good. The Chargers, I don't think they have enough to get there yet. They scare me. The big question mark in that division and my last Super Bowl sprinkle is the Broncos.
Oh, okay.
It's a big, big question mark, obviously. But if Wilson can come in, have a good year.
I think he can.
I think so too. He's got the receivers. He's got two solid running backs. They have the advantage with the altitude. That plays a factor, especially later in the year.
Yeah.
If they win a lot of games and have a couple home games in the playoffs, that's going to play a factor. This is all everything's got to fall into place for the Broncos to win it. Obviously, that's why they're plus 1,700. But I think Wilson can come in, have a good year. He's got a great wide receivers room.
They do need to step up, though. His receivers legitimately are going to have to step up.
Yeah, 100%.
Sutton did not have that great of a year, albeit Drew Lock was throwing to him. Judy was banged up last year. I think he fractured his ankle and was out for 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, he was out a long time.
I might be wrong, but I think he was out at least 6 weeks last year. And he had some I think it was him that had some problems with drops. They're also losing Fant. I know they've got Albert I don't really know how to pronounce his last name. It's like Okubunam or something. But he didn't play bad last year. I know Russell Wilson does like to target tight ends. He did it with Jacob Hollister and Disley even, of all people.
Right.
He made them relevant in Seattle. So if Albert can play well, but his receivers and like you said, in general, his receiving core will have to make the next step, stop dropping balls, be able to get open, which I think they can, especially Judy. Judy's great.
Right.
It's just a matter of can he show it.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of things got to fall into place for that to happen. But if they make that next step, which I think they can, a lot of those guys haven't played. They're young. They haven't played with a solid quarterback. So, we've seen it in the NFL. We saw when Peyton went there, a good quarterback, top 5, top 10 quarterback in the league can already elevate a team from garbage to a contender. And they got a decent defense, too. That's a big question as well, health-wise, on that side of the ball for them. But we'll see what happens. So my Super Bowl, again, I got the Bills is my favorite pick, obviously at plus 600. Bucks at plus 750. Chiefs, a little bit less than those at plus 1,000. And then my sprinkle is the Broncos at plus 1,700. Do you have anything else? Any NFL?
Nothing else as far as futures go.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else. I think that's gonna do it. If you have a favorite future, I'm obviously open to taking other futures. Drop them down below, down in the comment section. If you're on YouTube, this is gonna be posted on Pickett as well, Twitter, all that good stuff. So if you have a favorite future you'd like to share, give a little explanation. I'm more than open to taking them. Like I said, our merch is live. You can find that link down below in our YouTube. If you're just listening, the link is in our link tree on our Twitter. The NFL season is here. We're less than 24 hours away. It's very exciting. Should be a good year. Bills Rams tomorrow. I think it's gonna tell us a lot about these futures. I think we're really gonna see what these guys are made of.
I'm really excited for it.
Man, Tom, thank you for coming on, man.
Of course, man. Anytime.
Appreciate it. That's gonna do it for this one. Shout out to Pickett as well. Before we get out of here, make sure you download Pickett with the link in our bio. Use our promo code PoziosPicks. The features they're adding now are just crazy. It's the perfect app to not only track your bets, see what everyone else in the community is betting, get picks from everyone else. You can line shop. Tom, you see they're adding player props line shopping.
I did see that, actually. I saw their tweet about it the other day, and I think you also retweeted it.
Yeah.
And that was really cool because I don't know if you don't know what line shopping is, you're pretty much just going through and seeing what book has the best line for what you want to bet.
Right.
So if you want to bet Cooper Kupp to score a touchdown, Pickett will have the best sports book for the best odds.
Yeah, that's incredible. I don't know of any other app that has anything close to that. So, like we said, shout out to Pickett. Be sure to sign up. Use our promo code for a little sign-up bonus. It goes right to your Venmo account. That is going to do it. Get your merch. Have a great NFL season. Good luck to everyone on their futures. Good luck to everyone on their bets. We will have a week 1 episode. I'm going to go over the entire board. It's going to be every week, like I always do, like we did last year as well. So stay tuned for that. Exciting season to come. Big things to come. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and on Pickett at Pozios Picks. We got some announcements coming too. So stay locked in for that. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace.